What is the issue?
But that's the thing. Even
issue
he
is that
acknowledges
it's
that the
not
word
right, it's not the
itself
time
is
and place.
offensive. So he
No
in his
word by itself is offensive.
He in his
No word by itself. Okay. Alright, fine. So then, I'm interested, since it seems to be hot news that I missed. Tell me about this KSI thing.
So KSI was doing his show, Sidemen, and they were doing it like countdown.
Okay.
Show countdown.
Yeah.
So the words came up, and obviously there was a P in there somewhere, there was an A in there somewhere, there was a K in there somewhere, and an I in there somewhere. And obviously KSI said the P word.
What's the P word?
She literally spelled it out. I'm pretty sure we've spoken about it on this podcast as well. Back in the early days.
Oh, right. I'm with you. Should I say it? Or we're not allowed to say it? Are you going to blur it out?
The fact that KSI is getting cancelled right now, you want to say it. You're confident enough to say it.
Who is KSI?
The YouTuber guy. You know that prime drink. Listen,
Okay,
I only found out
It's
recently.
pro Nick. Pro Nick doesn't know a lot of things.
I only found out recently. Wow. That was very generalized.
Do you know the prime drink? Do you see? And who doesn't know about the prime drink?
I wanted to be offended at that. But I was like, it's legit true. I don't really know much.
Fair enough.
I was trying to find an offense.
But
I
yeah,
couldn't.
anyway, so people are in uproar because one, he said the P word. Two, people on the show at the time laughed and no one called it out. Three, obviously the show would have been edited by other people.
Right,
and then
right.
it was like still no one
Thought,
was like,
let's cut this out.
And then
Or at least blur it out.
Yeah,
Beep it out.
and then obviously it had to be uploaded, and whoever was uploading it, still nobody was like, are we sure this is what we want to put out there? So he put out an apology on social media, but obviously some people are like, over celebrities apologizing, thinking a paragraph on social media is a good enough apology. And
So what
especially,
do they want? Blood.
I don't know. Don't crucify me. I'm just telling the story. I'm just telling one.
I'm thinking maybe they stated what they wanted.
No, so for example, on the radio, on one of the callers in was saying somebody like KSI needs to put it on his platform that he understands what he did was wrong. One thing he could do is start collaborating with people from that nationality.
Why?
To show that he does stand with them. He's not. Don't. Why are you asking me why?
Because you might have more information.
Yeah, just
so
to
we're not challenging.
So,
you.
so the person.
We shoot the messenger on this show.
The person was trying to say that celebrities think they can say what they want, apologize on social media, and then that's okay. But if you truly mean your word to say, I'm not that person, that's not what I believe in, then your actions also need to show it. So go above and beyond to let your apology go above and beyond.
But
not just
I
the
think
paragraph.
that's a bit
That's bollocks.
hypocritical.
Yeah.
Because the same can be said about them. Are there any footages of him saying that word up, right, and left and center aside from that time?
That was literally the point I was gonna make. To say the actions do show that they're
Exactly.
not, because that's not a daily occurrence
Exactly.
for them. Or also we haven't got evidence that it's a daily occurrence for
Exactly.
them. Let's say,
Which is what matters.
Because if you could show me that
It's a
if you
behavior
can show me
thing. This
evidence
is who
that
he is.
and
Exactly.
anyway, saying the word doesn't necessarily mean you're against the people.
But then it's like the N-word, isn't it? I'm sure he would have been in uproar if people started using the N-word repeatedly on TV. I'm not saying he used the P-word repeatedly, but it's also that hypocriticalness of people at the forefront of let's get rid of the N-word, now at the forefront of saying another racial slur that hurts a different demographic.
Do you remember that? I don't know if it was South Park or just a cartoon clip of, I think it's a game show in America, where they give you words and then they give you a clue, but one of the letters is missing
Yeah,
from
that
the
was
word.
funny.
So they give you a clue. So I think the clue was people that annoy you, and the letters were N blank GGER.
I saw that.
So the guy was like,
Niggas.
okay, this is answered the question. Niggas.
And the whole audience was like, shift your eyes.
There's a
Nuggets. Right, yeah, nuggets.
Makes sense.
Hold on a minute. They annoy you.
No, but the reason I bring that up is because I watched that clip, and honestly, that was my first thought as well when I saw the clues.
Yeah.
I thought it was
No,
niggas.
but then the difference with the KSI thing is because there was a lot. You've seen Countdown. There was a lot
Yeah.
of words. It's just coincidental that
Is it-
the P, the A, the K, and the I were all there.
Yeah.
But
So,
my question is that an actual word in a dictionary, or is it?
no, it's not a dictionary word. I don't think you open the dictionary and find that word there.
Okay.
So
Should we check? We actually have help in the studio today. T,
no.
can
it's not
you
necessary.
check if
No, we need to
that
check
word
it.
is
No,
in the
thing is
dictionary?
that
If it's in the
it can be an
dictionary.
offensive word, but if it's in the dictionary on a game show like that, and the letters are aligned, and you say that
It
word,
should be a valid
should
word.
that be offensive? That's the question. we should
Because
be discussing.
if it is a legit word that has a definition,
Exactly.
But then I
Then
guess
nigger is a legit
I
word
guess
that has
niggas-
a definition.
is it in the
So,
dictionary, though?
I don't know if it's in the dictionary.
That's the question. Though.
Urban
We can check
dictionary.
both words.
no, I think it is
But
in
just
the
because
no. I
something
think
is in the dictionary
it is in the
doesn't mean
dictionary,
you
but it says
really go say
but it
it.
says racial slur. So it may disclaim that this is a racial slur or this is offensive. But you have some words where on the definition they say offensive, and then they explain the meaning of it.
But then I suppose other people's argument with KSI was his audience is a very young demographic. So it's also he has to be mindful of who is watching his. Obviously, I don't know if this is right or wrong. He has to be mindful of who's watching his content.
I agree
and
with that.
and the influence that he does have, because KSI does have a lot of influence. I know you don't know about
Right
the
now-
fine drink,
right now he
but
has
the
a
kids
lot.
were buying a bottle of drink Pronic, £100.
Wow.
Kids were getting their parents to drive them like 50 miles just to buy this drink.
Wow.
That's the kind of influence that he has.
Wow. I mean, when it comes to like the influence that celebrities have on their fans and stuff like that, I agree with that completely. And I feel like, unfortunately, if you are in that limelight, you are restricted to what you can and cannot do because you chose that life. You are there for the fans. You are there. That's how you make your money. So when it comes to that, I'm in complete agreement. He would need to take some responsibility, but it was not on his show. That's what you're
Responsibility
saying.
for what though?
For basically what she's just said.
Because people are still offended. This is what we're always saying in this podcast, isn't it? Just
When you
because-
connect it to his fans, yeah. But then, from my understanding, he was on a game show, right? So it wasn't his show.
It's not. No, it is his show.
It's his show, but
Sidemen is his show.
it was like a game. It was like a segment of the show.
Yeah, so it's
Right.
his
So
show.
yeah, it's
So this is why
but-
people are saying at the editing stage, no one thought let's cut this out. At the
in that case, then I'm
checking
agreeing with
stage,
the people.
No one also thought
in that
let's
case,
cut this because
in that case, I'm agreeing with the people.
it goes through a lot of scrutiny. So at what point did no one think
I don't
this
know.
is not
I don't
appropriate
know
to
though.
put out?
'Cause,
I know.
the reason I'm saying that-
the reason I'm saying I don't know, right, is because for me, offense has to have intention behind it. And the question I have to ask myself is, when it came up, because I'm guessing it was a segment on his show, but I'm guessing they were actually playing the game, right? So the letters were being drawn, and they were actually playing the game like a proper game. So it wasn't staged or anything. Because if it was staged, then okay, fine, that's a different thing. But they were playing the proper game, and he saw the word, and he said, "Oh yeah, I've seen the word. This is the word."
No, but
There is no intent of offense behind that.
That's the thing.
No.
It wasn't that was the word he was meant to get.
No.
That's the
No.
difference.
He saw the word in the letters. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. He saw, because it's like if I was on Countdown and I saw the word nigger come up in letters, I'm gonna go for that word. That's a good word to get in Countdown. But that's not my point. My point.
But isn't it also about
I'm hanging on the point of.
discernment and discretion comes in because yes, you can
Yeah.
see that word, but if you're on a platform like that, are
Yeah.
you really
Yeah.
going to go on
It's
Countdown
like,
and find the word nigger?
It's like if
No, but
I can't go and bring on.
If the aim of the game is to
and make
find
jokes,
words
like racist jokes like that.
and that, because it's 30 seconds as well, and if that's the word that I can see and there is no offense behind me saying that,
But
what is the issue?
But that's the thing. Even
issue
he
is that
acknowledges
it's
that the
not
word
right- it's not the
itself
time
is
and place.
offensive. So he
No
in his
word by
apolo-
itself is offensive.
He in his
No
apolo-
word by itself. Okay, go on, sorry.
He in his apology. Whether your thing is no word by itself is offensive.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It's the intent that
that's your
makes words
belief. That's
offensive.
your belief. That's your belief system. Other people's belief systems are that word by itself, just yelling it at somebody is offensive. Just saying it is
yes,
offensive.
yelling it at someone is offensive. I agree with
And
that.
Or
Just
just
saying
but that's
saying
not what
it
he
is
was
offensive.
saying.
But
That's what I'm
take your
disagreeing
belief system out of the equation because that's
yeah.
what you believe.
Yeah.
But now place it in society. In
Yeah.
society, that word even just said without context, people are gonna find it offensive.
Okay.
And KSI knows this.
Let me
as
give you a
public
scenario.
figure.
Let me give you a scenario, right?
But you're gonna put it in your
No.
belief
I'll give it
system.
in your belief system, or
It's not my
the
belief
society
system,
one.
I'm talking about
The society
context,
belief
yeah.
system. Let's say I'm a historian, yeah, reading a diary of a slave owner who was a slave owner in India or Pakistan, and I'm reading their diary, and in that diary they say that word. Now, that's a good example because the way it was written, I could agree that it was offensive, but in me reading it and saying the word, is that offensive?
But that's a different kind of context. And something like that will probably have a disclaimer that comes with it. If you're a historian on a documentary and you're going to be saying the P word, trust and believe there is going to be a disclaimer. They're going to make it very, very clear that these are not my words. I'm verbatim reading what the slave owner would have wrote. So they're not even his words. I get what you're saying. I get your example that, yes, in that context, that word would probably be used and people would be okay with it because it's coming from a different time in history. But KSI is situated in our time of history. He's not being quoted. He just came out with the word. Out of context, out of character.
I mean, to be honest with you,
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I just don't think a word... someone simply saying a word, especially in that context where it's a game show about finding words and someone finds that word and says it, I don't think people are justified to be throwing a fit like that.
No, they shouldn't.
Especially,
Hold on.
especially,
they shouldn't be.
Okay, it's one thing if you're
But they
unhappy
are.
about it and you say, okay, KSI, you shouldn't have done this. And KSI is like, all right, fair enough. I shouldn't have done it. I'm sorry. Let it go. But then to go and say, no, you know what? No, that's not even good enough. I'm like, yo.
Okay, yeah.
This was just one person.
I'm not
their
agreeing.
example. It's not the whole
I'm
world.
not agreeing on the extent they're going to get an apology from him. Like,
No, they're not going
I
to an
think
extent to get an apology.
like
that was
what
just
they're
one,
saying
that
that-
was just one guy. So the host was asking the guy, okay, you don't think his apology is good enough? What would you want? So it's not that there's a group of people telling KSI you need
I
to
mean,
do
best
this.
believe
That was
that
just-
person represents
Is a speaker
certain
of
group.
Fair enough. But
So I'm not for that. Like I said,
'Cause to be fair,
you look at his work as a whole, and then you can't determine that someone is a racist based on one occurrence that you know of. Okay, and then start saying that, okay, they need to corroborate with people of this race and whatnot. That's just making it even worse, you know. Apologize if he needs to apologize and move on. I think for me, where I'm agreeing with the people is he knows his audience, right? And unfortunately, it's your craft. That's what makes you money. That's your show. You know who your prime audience are. So therefore, you know what you can't and cannot do. He cannot be
But by
there.
prime audience, what do you mean by that?
You told me that a lot of his followers are fans are children, isn't it?
I don't think Sidemen is aimed at children.
It is.
Is it?
yeah, KSI is very much younger than Tadal.
Yeah.
Really?
So
Yeah.
so
Okay,
if
fair
you
enough.
have that
I
in
didn't know
mind,
that.
Year
yeah,
7, year 8, year 9.
you know that he will never use the F word. Why? He will never use the C word. Why?
Okay, fine.
You know what I mean? He will not refer to sexual parts or anything like that. Why? Why is he not gonna do that on his show? For me, it's the same thing. Yeah. On that aspect, he should have known. So even though he's seen that word, and even if it was a legit word in the dictionary, right? He should have called it out. If he had, it should have been bleeped. Should have been bleeped. It
But
should
not
have been
even
called.
bleeped. What people were saying was it's not a live show. So it's not a live show where
That's
it
what I'm
was
saying,
like,
because afterwards they can bleep it out, isn't
not
it?
even
So-
bleep it out. They could have cut the whole segment out. They could have cut the whole section. Could have just
they-
boop.
Just
Then-
to say on your point, the word was actually bleeped. That's it. It was bleeped, but
But was it seen though?
no, it wasn't seen. But you can lip read what he was saying.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
but
see?
it was.
But not
bleeped.
even that. You can see the word on the screen because
That's
no,
what I
no,
mean. That's
not
what I
that
was
you can.
asking. Could you
no,
see
no,
on
I'm
the
guessing
screen?
it was blurred out.
No. That's the thing because it's countdown.
Mm-hmm.
You've got SQP, HI.
No, hold on.
AK. I said, okay.
AK.
Could you see it because it was like
It,
that?
it was
or-
a random
it
draw,
was
though.
jumbled.
It was a
then
random
that's
draw.
okay, then
That's fine.
okay.
That's
It was
fine.
it was
That's
jumbled,
okay.
so it wasn't
We can't-
PAKI.
Yeah, we can't go to
one
the
thing.
point where we can't even have those letters mixed
No,
up. in one-
those
you see what I
letters were.
mean?
And that's
Like,
that's what
then we're
people were
losing it.
saying. There were so many other word options. Why did you have to go for the offensive one?
Unfortunately, and this is going back to the society going soft and stuff like that. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. A word intentions and why the word is being used should be the story behind it, not just the word itself. But unfortunately, that's not the society we're living in. You know,
Yeah,
and that's why you have a word in a song, and people are like, "Oh no, that's offensive."
But then what if? I'm not saying this is what's happened, because obviously I get you guys' argument that a word alone should not be offensive. That's fine. What if that demographic have got together and have said, guys, we just find even the saying of this word really, really offensive. It's like, like when you're in a relationship with somebody and they say, you know what, I just find it really annoying when you poke me. A poke alone shouldn't really offend anybody. Like when you poke me, I just find it really, really offensive.
In that situation, I would agree that out of respect, we say, okay, fine. But that doesn't mean I agree that the word by itself without intention is offensive.
But that's what I'm
But
saying.
out of respect, I'll say, okay, fine. If that's what you're saying,
But
all right,
isn't
cool.
that what's happened? Because a lot of people from that demographic have said we find the word itself offensive. Whether
No,
And
you
justly
find
so.
well. Anyway, I can't speak for
I
everybody.
don't know if you can say unjustly, because that's how somebody feels about something
but
being
yeah,
said
but
to
that
them.
doesn't mean
Whether
they're
that's-
correct.
Yeah, going
whether
back
that's
to
just
It
to you or
doesn't
not.
mean they're right.
Whether that's just to you or not.
Unfortunately,
it's just
feelings
for them.
don't dictate right and wrong.
I do want to retract, however. Hang on.
We're still in this context.
Yeah, yeah.
We're still in this society.
So in
you can
this
say any word
context-
is socially acceptable.
In this context, I do want to retract though, because the fact that the show is for kids, then on the basis of a responsibility of being
Exactly.
responsible for your audience,
Yes.
and especially being an adult, so and therefore whether he likes it or not, he's a role model.
Exactly.
On that basis, then I'll say, okay, fine, fair enough. Maybe he shouldn't have
It
done
shouldn't
so.
have happened.
Or only on the basis that he is a role model extent and he is talking to children, and therefore when you put yourself in that position, you have a certain responsibility. If it was a show for adults, that would be a different
Like
issue.
South Park.
You
South
know,
Park doesn't care.
that'll be like 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown. Like if that happened on Cats Does Countdown, I'll be like, but
anyway.
because of the context,
Discussion for
I
another
get it, so I retract. Okay, fair enough. However, I do think an apology is absolutely fine because, okay, he did it when they were playing the game, but he's not the only person involved in that. Like you said, there's editing, there's producing, there's
There's the
distributing, or
audience that
whatever.
laughed.
So
No one held him. No one checked him.
yeah, so don't focus all your anger at him because he's not solely responsible for that. He's
Call
the
for
person that
cancellation
did
of the
it.
whole show. I'm joking.
But yeah, but it could have been stopped in many. So be like, okay, KSI, you messed up here, but your team let you down as well. Guys, do better.
Can I say something?
So yeah, go.
Do you want her to come to the mic?
No, thanks.
No, go.
Careful now, come.
I mean, you might as well now. Step up.
Come on, man.
Let's hear what you have to say. And coming to the stage.
No, but it's just like, you know how you said how his friends are wrong for like laughing. But my thing is, okay, when you're in a group of people and let's say someone says something offensive, are you going to in that right moment just shout, oh, what you said is offensive, what you said is like wrong? Do you know what I mean? Can you really put his friends to fault?
When you're in
That's a
that,
fair
Because I'm not
point.
gonna lie,
well,
sometimes
if it was in a social
yeah.
setting, no, because they're
Yes.
bantering.
If it was in a
okay?
social
In a
Yes.
social setting, yes, because they're bantering. That's not going to be put out there. So it ends there. So for example, in this room, if somebody said something, that camera is off. We kiki. It ends there. Nobody out there knows what's happened in this room. But this is being put out on a public forum, and everybody in that room is fully aware of that. So maybe they didn't have to check him there and then, but the editors could have checked him and said, that's not right. His friends could have checked
No,
him.
it's not even about right. Just it's a question of appropriateness. I don't think it's a right or wrong issue. I think it's about
Let me use that word
appropriateness.
then. The editor could have checked him. That's not appropriate. The friends or whoever he was collabing with in that episode could have checked him and said, you know what, that's not what we're trying to put out for our brand. So, you know, as banter, fair enough. But as part of the show, no, can't do that. So somebody in his team should have
said
been
something.
like,
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the message that we usually put out.
But
And another
in that
thing-
moment,
yeah.
maybe what they should have done to show that maybe you shouldn't have done that is maybe not laugh, maybe just not react.
awkward silence.
Yeah, because in laughing, someone could say, oh no, you were endorsing it, or you didn't see an issue with it, blah blah. So you know when someone says something awkward and you're like, All right. Anyway, next, you know that kind of thing. Wait, you just saw that? Okay, I hear what you're saying.
Don't know.
That was a miss. That maybe someone could argue maybe that's what they should have done. But that could just been virtue signaling as well. Because let's be fair, behind closed doors, they would have died. So
unfortunately, when you're in the public eye like that, you do have to be cautious of what you're saying, what you're putting out there, because you are being scrutinized. That's if you're going to be on social media, you have to understand whether it's right or wrong. There are people waiting on social media to scrutinize everything that you do. So you do have to hold yourself accountable for what you put out there and be ready for the wolves to come eat you up.
To be fair, if you knowing the type of person that KSI is, because he normally says stuff like that anyways in most of his videos.
Stuff like what? Like that word?
Huh?
Not that word.
No, not
He's
that
a
word.
psychopath, bro.
Yeah, like he's some of the things he says is really messed up.
Someone
anyways,
who used to be
yeah.
a KSI fan, and that was a hard KSI. He's a psychopath.
It's not something you could watch in front of your parents. Do you know what I mean?
But he's under children.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I feel
Okay,
like
it's not something we would watch under our parents. Let's say that.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, because
okay.
our parents would beat us.
yeah,
but
like,
other
he
people
just says
obviously,
mad things anyway. So to be honest, it's like, is it really a shock? Like it was about time. It was.
So from what you're telling me, what I'm probably hearing is that his audience probably weren't all that shocked.
No, his actual
So,
audience.
yeah,
like, the
so-
children
Friends and his
that watch
audience,
probably
they were
not.
like-
So yeah, chances are his audience were like, yeah, listen, we use that word every day anyway.
And to me, it just sounds
So
like maybe
okay,
the
it's the wider
Yeah.
world that have seen it and have taken
Yeah.
issue
Don't
with it.
usually follow him. Now they've seen
Because,
it.
Right,
for
right.
example, he does one of his segments on his YouTube channel. He'll like talk to the fans and stuff like that.
Mm.
The fans can call in, and most of the fans
Most of
say
his
that
fans, they're
language
psychopaths
anyways.
as well.
So it's just like his
So, like, you.
audience are okay with it. To me, anyways.
He's like, I'm a reformed psychopath.
I went through rehab, so I'm okay.
So,
Fair enough.
so, you know.
My image of this guy is changing.
No, thank you. That was a useful contribution. Thank you very much. We needed that.
Okay, I mean,
But yeah, but yeah, I don't think he's getting cancelled because I don't think.
Nah, his audience won't let him, especially
No.
since his audience seem
And
like.
I think that's what I'm realizing.
okay with
Cancel
it.
culture
That's fine.
is a certain demographic. It's not these young lot. They're not cancelling nobody.
It's weird because it's like the young people don't really care. The older people don't really care. It's it's the people in the middle that
the
are
middle-aged.
just touchy about everything. Yeah, but younger people.
There's loads happening this week. Though.